You ever notice how you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone? Like you're standing behind glass, watching everyone else connect while you're just separate, disconnected, invisible. Someone posted online, "Alone in a crowded room." Just 4 words. But if you felt it, you know exactly what they mean. You can be at a party surrounded by dozens of people and yet feel isolated, separate, disengaged. It's as if you're in your own unbreakable bubble. At work, on a bus, walking down a busy street, the same feeling. You're there, but not really there. Present, but not connected. And here's the strange thing. Loneliness is one of the most universal human experiences. Everyone has felt this. Everyone. Not just you, not just me. Almost everyone has felt isolated at some point, even rejected. And yet when we're in it, drowning in that feeling, it's almost impossible to believe anyone else could understand. That's the cruel paradox of loneliness. It makes you feel uniquely alone in a feeling that's actually completely universal. The scientists tell us something fascinating. There are neurons in your brain, actual cells, that respond specifically to social isolation. Loneliness neurons. They fire when you're separated from others, when you lack connection. Your brain physically aches for contact with other humans the way your stomach aches for food. We're biologically wired for connection. Social interaction and the maintenance of social bonds are necessary for our survival as a species. This isn't optional. This isn't a nice to have. We need each other. And yet, someone wrote, "Feeling lonely, but never alone." Another said, "My loneliness speaks the loudest." And one more, "Lost, alone, rediscovering myself." These are the captions people put on their photos, their faces smiling at the camera while their farts whisper something different. Because loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about the gap between the connection we want and the connection we actually have. You can have 100 friends and still feel lonely. You can go out every night and come home feeling emptier than before. You can be in a relationship and feel more alone than when you were single. Because it's not about the number of people around you. It's about whether anyone really sees you, really knows you, really understands what's happening beneath the surface you show the world. How many of your friendships go deeper than small talk? How many people actually know what's going on inside your head? How many would notice if something changed in you? Someone posted, "In a room full of art, I'd still stare at the empty spaces." That's what loneliness does. It makes you see the emptiness even in fullness, the absence, even in presence. 80% of people under 18 report being lonely, at least sometimes. 40% of adults over 65. Millions of us feeling alone, each convinced we're the only one feeling this way. The neuroscience reveals something both fascinating and heartbreaking. When you're lonely, your brain literally responds less to social rewards. The very thing you need, connection, becomes harder to feel good about. The part of your brain that should light up when someone smiles at you or reaches out, it's dampened, muted. And other people can sense it somehow, the loneliness, the distance, and they pull back, which makes you feel more alone, which makes you pull back more, which makes them pull back further. It's a spiral. a trap you can't seem to escape. Someone wrote on a forum, "I have been single for a while now," and you realize how comfortable it is to be alone when you find comfort in being alone. Technically, being lonely and being alone are two different things, but you end up mixing them when you see people around you have someone with them. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be alone and feel perfectly content. You can be lonely, surrounded by people. They're not the same thing. Loneliness is about connection, or the lack of it. It's about feeling like you don't belong anywhere, like you're fundamentally separate from everyone around you. The question isn't really how many people are around me. The question is, do I feel seen? Do I feel known? Do I feel like I matter to anyone? And when the answer is no, or when we're not sure, everything hurts. Your body responds to loneliness the way it responds to physical danger. Stress hormones spike, inflammation increases, the immune system weakens. Loneliness literally hurts. Not metaphorically. Actually, there's physical pain in isolation. Someone posted, "Behind the strong facade lies loneliness." Another, "Hiding pain in plain sight." And one more, "Echoes of unspoken feelings." We're all wearing masks, aren't we? All protecting ourselves. All afraid that if people saw who we really are, they'd walk away. So we don't let them see. And then we feel lonely. And we wonder why we can't connect. But if we only show people the edited version of ourselves, the performance, the persona, how can they know the real us? And if they don't know the real us, how can we ever feel truly connected? It's a trap we build ourselves. We hide to protect ourselves from rejection, and the hiding itself creates the disconnection we fear. Someone on Reddit wrote, "Every social interaction starts to feel shallow and fake because you never express your inner feelings to anyone. You keep reinforcing the belief that people don't like your authentic self. So you show up to gatherings and laugh at the right moments and say the right things, and nobody sees that you're dying inside. Nobody sees that you go home and cry. Nobody sees that you're exhausted from pretending. And the exhaustion makes you want to stay home next time. So you do. And then you feel even more alone. And the cycle continues. There's a thought that comes, usually late at night. Does anyone actually care about me? Would anyone notice if I just disappeared? You scroll through your phone, all those contacts, all those people you could theoretically reach out to, but you don't, because you're not sure they'd want to hear from you. You're not sure they'd care. You're not sure the connection is real, or if you're just there, existing on the periphery of other people's lives. Someone posted, "People are around me, but not with me." That's it. Exactly. Present, but not connected. Visible, but not seen. You watch other people, and they seem to connect so easily. They laugh and hug and make plans, and it looks effortless. And you wonder what's wrong with you. Why can't you do that? Why does connection feel so hard for you when it seems so easy for everyone else? But maybe it's not easy for them either. Maybe they're pretending too. Maybe everyone's lonely, and we're all just really good at hiding it. The numbers suggest that's true. Loneliness is epidemic. Millions of people feeling isolated in their own private bubbles, each convinced they're the only one feeling this way. There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes from being in a relationship where you're not truly known, where you're performing even in your most intimate connection, where you can lie next to someone every night and still feel completely alone. Some people say that's the loneliest feeling of all, to be physically close to someone and emotionally miles apart. Someone wrote, "Silent tears, silent strength." Another, "Alone but not broken." And "Finding strength in loneliness." We don't talk about loneliness much. It feels shameful somehow. Like admitting you're lonely is admitting you're unlovable, defective, broken. So we pretend we're fine. We post photos of ourselves. Looking happy and well-adjusted. We say, "I'm good," when people ask how we are. We perform connection, even when we don't feel it. And underneath it all, the loneliness grows. Quiet, persistent, always there. You can be texting 10 people and still feel completely alone. You can be at your own birthday party, surrounded by friends and family, and feel like you're watching it all from somewhere far away. You can achieve everything you're supposed to achieve, the career, the relationship, the social circle, and still feel like something essential is missing. Connection. Real connection. The kind where someone knows you, really knows you, and stays anyway. Someone posted, "In a crowd, but feeling like a ghost." Another, "Surrounded by people, suffocated by loneliness." And "I'm here, but I'm not really here." There's a thought that comes sometimes. I could tell everyone exactly what I'm thinking and feeling right now, and they still wouldn't understand. That gap between your internal experience and what you can communicate, between what you feel and what others can perceive. Even in your closest relationships, there's a fundamental aloneness. Your consciousness is yours alone. Your experience is yours alone. No one can truly know what it's like to be inside your head, living your life, feeling what you feel. We're all trapped in our own subjective experience, connected but separate, together but alone. The philosophers talk about this, the fundamental isolation of consciousness. Each of us locked in our own perspective, trying desperately to bridge the gap to other isolated consciousnesses. Sometimes we succeed, mostly we just approximate, get close enough, pretend the gap isn't there. Someone wrote, "She shines even when she's alone." Another, "Even in her loneliness, she remains unbroken." And "My heart beats in the rhythm of solitude." There are moments when the loneliness feels almost beautiful, when you're driving alone at night with music playing and the world feels vast and you feel small but somehow okay with it. When you're walking through a city and everyone's busy with their own lives and you're just drifting through it all, anonymous, free, alone, but not quite lonely. And then there are the other moments, the ones that hurt, when you realize it's been weeks since you had a real conversation, when you catch yourself talking out loud just to hear a human voice, even if it's your own, when you reach for your phone to text someone and realize there's no one you want to text, or worse, there are people you want to text, but you don't because you're not sure they want to hear from you. The loneliness of uncertainty, of not knowing where you stand with anyone, of feeling like you're always one step away from being too much or not enough. Someone posted, "Walking alone but never lost." Another, "Loneliness shapes my soul." And "In solitude, I find my true self." Maybe loneliness teaches us something. Maybe it cracks us open in places we needed to crack.
Maybe it shows us who we really are when all the distractions fall away. Or maybe that's just what we tell ourselves to make it bearable. The truth is, loneliness just is. It's part of being human, part of being a separate consciousness in a world full of separate consciousnesses. We reach for each other across the void, and sometimes we touch, and sometimes we miss, and sometimes we're not sure if we connected at all. Your brain has specific neurons that fire when you lack social contact. Your body releases stress hormones when you're isolated for too long. Your immune system weakens. Your perception changes. You become hypersensitive to social cues, looking for threats, seeing rejection where there might not be any. Loneliness changes you, shapes you, colors everything. And almost everyone experiences it at some point. Some people live in it. Some people visit occasionally. Some people feel it so constantly they don't even recognize it as loneliness anymore. It's just how things are. Someone wrote, indulging in loneliness. Another, comfortable in my isolation. And the quiet doesn't scare me anymore. There's a stage where you stop fighting it, where you accept that this is how it is. You're alone. You've always been alone. You'll probably always be alone. And you just exist with it. Is that peace or resignation? It's hard to tell sometimes. You watch movies and shows where people have these deep friendships, these soul connections, these relationships where they're fully known and fully loved. And you wonder if that's real or if it's just fiction, if anyone actually has that, or if we're all just pretending. Maybe everyone's lonely. Maybe connection is always partial, always incomplete, always approximated. Maybe the best we can hope for is moments of resonance, glimpses of understanding, brief touches across the void. Someone posted, echoing in the empty spaces of my mind. Another, my thoughts are my only company. And conversations with myself are the deepest I have. Late at night when you can't sleep, you think about all the people who used to be in your life. Friends who drifted away, relationships that ended, connections that faded. And you wonder if you did something wrong or if that's just what happens. People come and go. Nothing lasts. Everyone eventually leaves. And if everyone eventually leaves, why open up at all? Why be vulnerable? Why risk the hurt? So you don't. You keep people at arm's length. You protect yourself. And the protection becomes the prison. Loneliness is complicated. It's not just simple sadness. It's not just wanting company. It's this complex web of fears and beliefs and past hurts and current isolation and biological signals and social conditioning. It's the gap between who you are and who you show the world. It's the difference between being known and being seen. It's the space between your internal experience and everyone else's perception of you. Someone wrote, nobody knows the real me. Another, I wear masks even in my own mirror. And sometimes I forget who I am beneath all the pretending. Who are you when no one's watching? Who are you in the moments between the performance? Who are you in the silence, in the stillness, in the alone? That's the question loneliness asks. That's what it forces you to confront, yourself, the real you, the one nobody sees. And maybe that's terrifying because you're not sure you like what you find. Or maybe it's terrifying because you do like what you find, but you're convinced nobody else would. Either way, the loneliness remains. Persistent, patient, always there. The scientists say loneliness affects your brain structure, changes the way you process social information, alters your perception of yourself and others. It's not just in your head, it's reshaping your head. Lonely individuals have less gray matter in certain brain regions. Their neural responses to social rewards are diminished. Their ability to trust is compromised. Their brains become wired for isolation even as they crave connection. It's a biological trap as much as an emotional one. Someone posted, "My loneliness has a heartbeat." Another, "I've made friends with my isolation." And "the quiet doesn't scare me anymore." You learn to function in loneliness. You adapt. You build a life around it. You find ways to fill the time, occupy your mind, distract yourself from the ache. But it's always there. Background noise, white static, a low hum of disconnection that never quite goes away. You see other people's lives on social media, all their friends and gatherings and connections, and you wonder how they do it, how they maintain all those relationships, how they have the energy, how they seem so connected. But you're only seeing what they choose to show, the highlight reel, the performance. Maybe they're lonely too. Maybe everyone is. Someone wrote, "Surrounded by people, drowning in solitude." Another, "The party's loud, but my mind is louder." And "I smile while my soul screams." There's a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from pretending you're okay when you're not, from showing up and performing and being on when inside you're falling apart.
From answering, "I'm fine," when the truth is, you're barely holding it together. And you can't tell people the truth because the truth is too heavy, too dark, too much. So you keep it inside. And the keeping it inside makes you feel more alone. Because if nobody knows what you're really going through, nobody can really see you. And if nobody sees you, do you even exist in any meaningful way? The loneliness becomes existential. It's not just about lacking friends or partners. It's about fundamental questions of being and belonging and mattering. Do I matter? Does my existence register with anyone? Would anyone care if I just stopped? These are the thoughts that come at 3 a.m. These are the questions loneliness asks. And often, there are no good answers. Someone posted, "I exist in the spaces between people." Another, "A ghost in my own life." And "present but not accounted for." You go through the motions, you do what you're supposed to do, you show up to work, to social obligations, to family gatherings. You say the right things, you laugh at the right moments, you perform normalcy. And inside you're screaming, or numb, or both somehow. The loneliness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, a dull ache instead of sharp pain, a gray fog instead of black despair. Just there, always there. And you get used to it. It becomes your baseline. You forget what it feels like to not be lonely. You forget what real connection feels like. You forget that there's any other way to exist. Someone wrote, "I've forgotten how to let people in." Another, "My walls have become my home." And "I'm safe in my isolation and terrified of it at the same time." There's comfort in loneliness sometimes, in its predictability, in its safety. Being alone means you can't be hurt, can't be disappointed, can't be abandoned, because there's nobody there to abandon you. But the safety is also a trap. The walls that protect you also imprison you. The distance that keeps you safe also keeps you lonely. And you're not sure how to bridge that gap anymore. You're not sure if you even remember how to connect, if you're even capable of it anymore. The loneliness has changed you, shaped you,
made you into someone who exists at a distance from everyone else. Someone who watches life from behind glass. Someone posted, "I'm here, but I'm not here." Another, physically present, emotionally absent. And "my body shows up, but my soul stays home." Maybe this is just how it is. Maybe this is what being human means. Separate consciousnesses floating through space, occasionally bumping into each other, never quite merging, never quite connecting fully. Maybe loneliness isn't a problem to be solved. Maybe it's just the condition, the default state, the truth we all try to avoid but can't escape. We're born alone. We die alone. And in between, we do our best to pretend we're not alone. We build relationships and families and communities. We create art and stories and songs about connection. We reach through each other across the void. And sometimes, for brief moments, we touch. We feel seen. We feel known. We feel less alone. And then the moment passes, and we're separate again. And the loneliness returns. Someone wrote, "In my loneliness, I've found a strange kind of peace." Another, "I've stopped fighting it." And "the solitude is my companion now." Maybe that's acceptance. Maybe that's defeat. Maybe there's no difference. The loneliness just is. It exists. It's real. It's universal. It's human. We're all alone together, all isolated in our separate experiences, all reaching for connection we're not sure we'll ever fully achieve. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just what this is, what being human means, what consciousness costs. You're not broken for feeling lonely. You're not failing. You're just human, experiencing one of the most universal human experiences there is. Everyone feels alone sometimes. Everyone wonders if they matter. Everyone questions whether anyone really knows them. You're not the only one. You never were. Even in your loneliness, especially in your loneliness, you're not alone in feeling it. That's the paradox. That's the truth. We're all alone together, all feeling this, all wondering if anyone else understands. And we do. We all do. Because loneliness is as universal as breathing, as common as wondering why we're here. It's part of being human, part of being alive, part of being a conscious being trying to navigate an existence we didn't choose to understand. The loneliness is real. The isolation is real. The pain is real. And so is this. You're not the only one feeling it. Right here, right now. In this moment of recognizing that we're all in this together, all feeling disconnected, all longing for something we can't quite name. The glass between you and everyone else? Everyone's behind their own glass. Everyone's watching from their own isolation. Everyone's wondering if anyone sees them. Maybe that's as close to connection as we get. Recognizing that we're all separate. We're all alone. We're all wondering the same things. And in that recognition, maybe there's something. Not a solution, not an answer, but something. A shared experience, a universal truth. We're all alone, together. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it has to be, because it's all we have. This moment, this awareness, this recognition that whatever you're feeling, the loneliness won't disappear, but maybe it doesn't We're alone. We're all alone. And somehow, That makes it bearable.